Cast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders. Can you hear me and see my screen? Just type yes in the questions and we'll jump right in. All right, excellent. Thank you. Okay, some new traders in here. Welcome to the Bookmap platform details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Risk disclaimer: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. So what we're going to go through in this webinar is some of the greetings from Hamburg. Thank you. We're going to go through what Bookmap is, some of the resources here. So got to go through a little bit of the website and some of the resources and how to connect Bookmap, etc. And then what Bookmap is showing you. Right, and then we'll get into some of the order flow, some of the order flow basics. Right, we're just not let me explain. So at bookmap.com, you can subscribe to the software. Then what comes along with the software is an educational course. Okay, so 4-part course, and in that course we go through all sorts of things. But then this comes along with access to advanced order flow webinars in the live market. And we anticipate future price movement based on our analysis in those webinars. And all of those webinars are based on the content in the educational course. So the concept is you can learn about Bookmap and order flow in the educational course and then see it every single day played out in the live market. All right, so that said, let's jump over and take a look at Bookmap quickly here. And to start up at the top, some intro videos, information about videos. Here's the webinar link you guys got here. A bit further down, just scroll right down to connectivity. Okay, so to define Bookmap, what is it? It's a software platform, okay, that visualizes where traders are in the market. Very unique. But we're not a data provider, okay? We're software. So you will need to provide data for futures and for equities. For the digital currencies, it is free at the moment through the GDAX exchange. So there's no problem there. How long is the course? The course each course, it's 4 parts. Each is about an hour. So it's about 4 hours altogether. It's pretty quick, but it'll give you a very good overview, and then follow up in the webinars. Every day, each webinar is about an hour for the live advanced order flow analysis. All right, and it's a great platform for not only looking in the live market and starting to anticipate the movements that are going to occur, but for asking all sorts of questions. So it's really a platform for you guys to ask all your questions. All right, so connectivity. So we are not a data provider. You'll see that there are some other trading platforms up here like Ninja, TTX Trader Pro, and Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. We connect via the API of them, but you can also see all the different other ways of connecting directly without any API. All right. And the Bookmap for equities is through Dev Experts here, and you can read more about that if you scroll up here and read about Bookmap for equities here. All right. Okay, subscriptions. Monthly or yearly, you get a 20% discount if it's yearly. And then the versions. Okay, it's digital and global. Okay, so the regular digital version is free. You only get access to one digital currency, and it is live. But everything is free. No, the data. There's no fee for the data or anything. It's a full working copy of the basic Bookmap version, but you don't get the advanced education, nor do you get full support. Okay, the Bookmap Digital Plus, you do get the education and full support. You can see it's $37 per month. It offers you the ability to trade right from the Bookmap chart into the GDAX exchange. You can record and replay your data, and you can access up to 20 different digital currencies. All right, the a Bookmap global version. What global means here is it includes digital plus and also offers the ability to connect to futures and US equities. Okay, the global plus version is futures and equities, as well as our cache here of the different add-on indicators that we put together. They're proprietary indicators looking specifically at order flow. Okay, one is the ability to trade right from the chart. The other here, like you can see that we start to not only have these indicators show you different phenomena in the marketplaces, but also we get into the specific players in the market. Okay, larger traders using large orders, where they are in the order book, iceberg detector, understanding where the larger players are using iceberg orders. There's some imbalance indicators, and there's a correlation tracker as well. Let's see. Do I have a lifetime license? I do. Oh, do we in general? Every now and then there might be a special, but yeah, reach out to us at support@bookmap.com, and we can follow up with you there. Okay. All right, answer any of your questions on that. Let's see, if we scroll down a little bit further, there's some free data here. If you want to, some of the different data providers offer free data for a couple of weeks of trial. You can see the complete list here for all the different comparisons of the features and components, and there's the FAQ section. All right, you can also follow us here on our Twitter feed. All sorts of great information coming up at bookmap_pro, and then subscribe to our YouTube page as well. Just quickly go through some of the playlists that are on the front page. Intro videos, get your feet wet here, what Bookmap is about. Features and components, it goes through the user interface and what we're showing. And then order flow video snippets, okay? This is more like the content that we go through in the advanced order flow webinars. Okay, these are very concise, a couple minutes long, but it goes through the concepts of that phenomena that Bookmap uncovers. So this is really how you're going to be using Bookmap. So I would encourage you to watch as many of these as you can. Okay, well, let's jump into Bookmap and see what is going on here. Okay. Interesting stuff right off the bat. Look where we are, looking at the S&P E-mini here, right into the figure, or a couple points away from it, but look at the liquidity here at the figure. All right, a lot of liquidity down here. Okay, what I'm looking at all this yellow and orange area here. Okay, so if they stay in the book here, now the aggressive sellers, they need to. They can trade through this, but they need a lot of selling power to get through this. Because look at how aggressive they're like adding into the book as price is coming down here. And here we go. Now we're going to see if they really mean business here or not. Okay, let's look down below as well. Let's go scroll vertically here. And then, yeah, we can see some other levels down here of pretty high liquidity here. Usually, this is quite typical. You always see, at the big figures, this 2,600 figure here, there's always a lot of liquidity. This is where larger players, usually you can predict that they're going to be, provide liquidity at those figures. All right, we're gnawing away at this liquidity. Okay, now we're going to go in here a little bit later as I define some of the things in Bookmap here. There we go. So we have traded through now. Okay, well let's just do that right now, and let's go see and make a distinction here between real and fake liquidity. Okay, because we saw really high liquidity there, well, here's what it looks like, and here's what happened. Okay, we started to trade into some of these areas here, as you can see. So these guys are getting filled. Okay, so now I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. For those of you who are new, don't worry, we're gonna define what you're looking at here in the Bookmap chart. But look at these red dots trading into this orange area. Okay, what it means is that they stayed in the book here, and they're getting filled. Okay, so using this hover data tip tool, I get the date, the time, and then the liquidity here at this 2601 figure. Okay, so about 463 contracts, and we're trading into them. Okay, now let's zoom out a little bit more. Okay, so that was here. Okay, and then also more down here. Okay, so they're also that's what we were looking at previously. Now more down here. Okay, they're trading right into it. Okay, and here, this is a good one. This is the big one. Okay, 675 contracts, and trading right into it and through it. Okay, so look at my trades or volume counter over here. 668 actually traded at this price level. So they traded through these guys. Okay, the sellers traded through. What does that mean? Okay, it means that these larger players down here, they wanted in. Okay, we're also seeing a little bit of spoofing here. Great stuff to see. See this liquidity here. It's not on the bid, it's on the offer. Okay, and look how they are providing high liquidity, pulling it and adding it lower, pulling it and adding it lower. This is like an ignition algo, and it's basically skewing the auction, trying to get priced into these higher areas here. Now, my point is, and we're making this distinction very, very clear. It's right in front of us. The data is right in front of us here. Okay, we just saw these areas absorbed by larger players. Okay, so does it mean that it can go lower? Yeah, we usually see it go a bit lower, but we also start to look for, because larger players are here and they're getting filled, it's going to absorb that selling pressure, right? Now you can see we went through by just a point, like 4 ticks, okay, down to 59 here, or I'm sorry, 99, and then we came back up. Okay, and look, we found buyers here on the other side. Okay, this is classic, and this is exactly what we're looking for, especially with the little spoof here. Great stuff. Okay, now I know I'm getting really ahead of everything here. This is usually, this is kind of the basic analysis that we go through in the advanced order flow webinar. Okay, and see how we found these buyers here. Now, we rotated back up, okay, and we found more sellers again up here, and we can see it very, very clearly in the order flow. Okay, so and how do I know that? All right, so I'm gonna have to start to define some of these areas now. Okay, we're looking at the dots here, and we're looking at the color and size of some of these dots up here. Okay, and we're starting to see some more selling. Okay, if the red dots are the aggressive sellers, nice little cluster here, and more and more down at lower lows. Okay, again, starting to absorb as we get into some of these lower areas, a little more spoofing as well. Okay, so we're still finding plenty of sellers here, plenty of sellers. All right, so we'll get back into the analysis here a little bit later or in a few minutes, but let me start to define what some of these things are so you guys understand what I'm talking about here. A lot of selling pressure. It looks good here, but we're going to see at a certain point it's going to exhaust out on that the sellers, the aggressive sellers. Hitting that market sell button are going to start to exhaust out. And then we're going to find buyers, and then we're going to see a shift in the order flow. Are we there yet? Well, we might be right now. We can see a nice little kind of squeeze actually happening right now. Anyway, I'm getting way ahead of myself. Let me just back up here and let's go through the components here in Bookmap. Okay, what are we looking at? It's just good stuff to see at the figure here, and I did want to see if how they react to some of these areas here. Anyway, what we're looking at here in this chart here, there's only 3 elements on this chart. Okay, we're going to close up this indicator, this cumulative volume delta indicator we also have, but we'll close that up, and we're just looking at 3 elements on this chart. And all of these elements here are they don't lag whatsoever. I mean, this is the market, okay, the current and historical market. Okay, there's every single element or event is plotted into the chart here. All right, so let me explain. The 3 elements that you're looking at here is just historical best bid and offer, the volume here, the dots that trade on that historical best bid and offer, and then the heat map, this heat map that we've been looking at. All it is a recording of the depth of market in the dome. Okay, or the history of that dome, okay, recorded back onto the chart. That's it. So let's start off with looking at a candlestick chart, and I'm going to go through this quickly here because we only have about 10 minutes for the before the next webinar starts. Okay, and now if I take off all of those other elements here, okay, and let's zoom out a bit. Okay, we're looking at a 5-minute candlestick chart here. All right, and what this is usually what we are accustomed to looking at. Real big problems here looking at a candlestick chart. It's only open, high, low, and close. Only 4 data points per every 5 minutes. Okay, there's all sorts of other information we want to understand here. We want to understand these drops. We want to understand what's going on in some of these areas. We want to understand the volume, how much, where did it trade, what type of volume was it. These are just critical to understand. And we're going to start by just showing the microstructure. And how do we show the microstructure? It's really simple. We just show the best bid and offer. Okay, so now within these 5-minute periods, let me zoom in a bit. Okay, within these 5-minute periods, this is the price action that occurred. Okay, and how is this helpful? Well, now you can start to see microstructures. Okay, this candlestick chart here. Look at these. We see these red bars, and we see some of the buying pressure that we just recently saw at 2600. Okay, well, I already can see something that is really telling that we just simply don't get in the candlestick chart. Okay, look where we broke down from here. Okay, at 2605. Right, here's the candlestick chart, and we don't really get this insight in the microstructure. We kind of bounced around here, and then we see the break. Okay, we broke down below 2605. Look at this beautiful retest back up to where we broke from, testing it to see if sellers are up here or if there's a lack of buying. And we covered it live. We saw that sellers were coming back in, or just right after it occurred, actually. So we start rotating lower. I can also show the same setup. This is actually one of the setups we look at, and it's in the educational course. Okay, same setup right here. All right, and looking at these areas, another structural area down below here. Okay, and it broke, and now it's retesting again. We're actually starting to find some buyers here, and they're testing this area. Okay, and let's see if they can, lift the offer maybe and test up here at 05. It looks really good right now. Okay, but we're going to turn on the volume, and we're going to be able to understand exactly what's going on here. Okay. Anyway, you can see how important it is to understand the microstructure, because the candlestick lies. It doesn't give us this information, or it just lacks transparency. The reason being is because it's aggregated data within a time period. Okay, and Bookmap is not aggregated whatsoever. Every single market event is recorded. So now we're looking at just 2 elements here in Bookmap. Okay, we're looking at the volume and that historical best bid and offer. Okay, let's zoom in, and I want to show you show you that precisely. Okay, because it's really simple data. It's really simple and straightforward. It's just that we're able to record every single market event. Okay, so here it is. Zoom in a bit more. Best offer is the red line. Best bid is the green line. Okay, these dots that you see here, the green ones, these are market buy orders. Okay, someone crossed the spread. They took liquidity off of the best offer. They didn't wait. They didn't provide it in the order book. Okay, this is the aggressor classification of volume. The red is a market sell. Okay, now you'll see some of these dots here, like this pie display here. Okay, well, there's so many flurries of activity that happen so quickly in these markets, because they trade algorithmically, and there's so many different flurries of activity that we have to give the overall volume in this delta here. And you can see that the majority of it is buying, about 2/3 of it. But I'm going to zoom into this area here. I'm going to use the move tool and then my center mouse wheel, and I'm going to zoom right in, and I'm going to pull apart all of that trading activity. Okay, so even down at this level here, let me show you. Boy, it's even more further out. Okay. Actually, between this vertical dotted line here and this one here, this is a blink of a human eye. Okay, and look at all this flurry of activity that took place very, very quickly. Okay, this is how these markets trade, and this is what Bookmap actually recorded. Okay, so I'm breaking apart that pie display that we saw, that one dot, and we can see there's several dots here. Okay, within it. Okay, even this one here, there's another flurry of activity. Let's zoom into that one. Okay, here's what really occurred. Okay, we have several trades that took place. Right, and then there's a buy trade over here as well. All right, so and we're down here looking at microsecond level. We can zoom into nanosecond level. We're looking at billions of seconds. Okay, this software can handle that. All right, so now I zoom back out. We can show you the overall so that you can visualize it and use it within your trading. But you have every single market event that is recorded, and we're only looking at here just two elements, and that's just the volume and the historical best bid and offer. All right, so let's zoom out a bit more. Look in our area here and our test back up into, let's go back here, I'm sorry. Okay, here's our test into 05. Okay, why are we bouncing up here at 05? All right, well, first off, we already had lined this up, and we were anticipating the move up into 05 if we can break above here, and we clearly did. So look at the overall clusters of this volume. Okay, well, they're aggressive buyers, right? And they're trading at higher highs here. Okay, so this is great. It gives us a good overview and understanding of the buy volume versus the sell volume. Okay, look at these little retests back in these areas, and look at the volume down here. Okay, in some of these areas, a lot less selling than it was over here. This is indicative of a order flow shift and trend. All right. So let's take the candlestick off. It's not helping us here. Now a lot of buying up here. It looks pretty good. Okay, but this is only really half of the order flow. It's actually quite a bit less. Okay, of looking at the volume. Why is that? Well, we want to understand what's going on the bid and the offer, and that's where the heat map comes in. And there we go. Okay, so we traded. Why do we come back up and kind of stop up in these areas? Well, we can start to see the buyers, or I'm sorry, the sellers here on the offer. Okay, at this 2605 area. Okay, and we traded into them. Okay, right here, and they absorbed. Okay, so this was real liquidity. No question about it. It's real, and they're trading, right? And they're starting to pull a bit here, as you can see, but the buyers aren't able to lift that offer any further. Actually, they did a bit here, as you can see, about a point higher, less than a point higher, a couple times. But and then we start to come back in and look at these guys again at 05. They come right back into the market. And do they have the intent to trade? Was this real liquidity up here? Absolutely. And we're trading right into it. Okay, so we just identified the distinction between real and fake liquidity here. Okay, the fake liquidity is like over in these areas here, where they're pulling. Okay, it got darker here. All right, so we're starting to understand the intent to trade and distinction between real and fake liquidity, and starting to understand the buying and selling pressure. The buying pressure is coming right back in, and they're taking these guys on again here. All right, now let's see if they can lift it up into 606.5 here. Wow, really quickly. Okay, I mean, this was typical, and we see it all the time. And why was I anticipating a move up into these areas? Because we can see it. I mean, they're nibbling away at these guys, and these guys start to pull, and they also pull up here. Some of it stayed in here, no question. The buyers are targeting high liquidity. Let's get up to 10 here now. Okay, it's a pretty strong move here. Anyway, we got to end it up. If you guys are signed up with or subscribed to Bookmap, then we'll see you in the next webinar. Okay. All right. Thanks for coming, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Bye bye.